Start, yeah.
Hi, everyone listening to our podcast or viewing our podcast. This is our first try at this in this genre. My name is Gayatri, and today we have two guests, out of which one has not joined. So it's only one.
One is on sick leave.
One is on emergency planned sick leave, and
Yeah.
one of our guests is here. Before we introduce her, uh, why do we have this channel? This is just a normal enhanced podcast channel. We will be discussing several topics, all the topics under the sky. And the first topic we chose was to give our 2 cents on the recent super hit Netflix series, When Life Gives You Tangerines. Before we do that, let's introduce our esteemed guest for the evening, मिस मेघा बंसल म्यूजिक डाल दूंगी मैं एडिट करके
Yeah, anyways, no, thanks,
And
Gayatri. Hello and welcome all. This is Megha, and I've known Gayatri for so long, it seems, though it's not been so long.
yeah.
But I think a lovely initiative where, as she said, that we're just going to talk, and that's the sort of just putting our hearts out, our thoughts, what we what our perspectives are on the various topics that we would touch upon week by week. About myself, I am a 2 decade experience insurance reinsurance professional, an ex McKinsey consultant, a mother to a teenager, and that's about me. I'm based out of Bangalore.
Thank you, Mega. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't introduce myself. Maybe we'll do it
So you
later.
should.
Introduction, perhaps I'll keep it simple. My name is Gayatri, as now you would have known, and I am a technical consultant working in Azure Cloud. That's all. And let's get into it. We will be discussing about the drama, the K drama, and right now K dramas are a super hit with everybody. All aged group
Especially
people
with
are
teens, Gayatri.
watching. Again with what?
Especially with teens.
Yes, K-pop, and not only teens. I think
Mhm.
now I am noticing it outside also. People of my age, right, above 30, 32,
Mm.
33, they are also now kind of liking the men projected in the K dramas. So I've noticed this pattern not only with When Life Gives You Tangerines, other Korean dramas, right? Somehow men of the leading,
K-pops are
right? They
the
are
series.
like some from a different world only. They cook, they clean, they are like worshipping their फीमेल
Yeah,
काउंटरपार्ट्स
but
लाइक व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इतना
no,
हमारे उसमें नहीं दिखाते हैं मेघा मतलब
uh,
मैंने नहीं देखा है कि
yeah, I agree, but it still has a very Asian take in terms of at least specifically coming down to when life give you tangerines. Of course, the key characters are the epitome of love, of
mm,
romance, of sacrifices.
mm,
But I still feel that overall, the series taught way beyond than probably just
mm,
the characters or the men perspective. Because if you look at the lead
mm,
character there of a mother,
mm,
of her as a daughter, of
mm,
herself pursuing poetry,
mm,
probably after long after retirement. So I think those are the aspirations of a lot of us as women
mm,
as well.
mm,
And therefore, to the point that you touched upon of men being portrayed in a particular way,
mm,
I feel for me it was the lady,
mm,
the female character lead in
mm,
this particular series, When
mm,
Lives Give You Tangerines,
mm,
where it's sort of the way I want to lead my life.
mm,
And that's across right from
mm.
when I was a teenager
Yeah,
to being a mother
yeah,
to how I look at my retirement,
yeah,
strong, independent. Of course, emotionally, we would miss the people that we
yeah.
lose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a sacrifice where she lost her son at a very
Mm,
young age.
mm,
But it's about the portrayal of, I feel, love and relationships
yeah,
in the series, which caught.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the reason
That's the
why probably
essence
so
of
many of us are glued.
connected to that.
Yeah.
Also, I feel one of my colleague very beautifully said, Asun, the character, the female
Hmm.
character, she is the main according to majority of the population take her as the female lead and take her as the actual protagonist of the story. But She had a unique perspective. She is so special because
Hmm.
Yang Wan-sik actually
Yeah.
made her so special,
Look special. Yeah.
look
Very
special, and
true.
gave all of his entire lifetime, right from childhood, working on that
Mm.
cabbage field, taking care of her, and then making sure that she achieves her dream. And somehow now I feel that when the man, or yeah, the man gives or surrenders to the female power, right? Then the female power blooms and actually takes care of the man in return. It's like
Yeah.
reverse,
Very
like
true.
circle. Someone has to surrender, and it is always better if the man surrenders, and then the female also surrenders in a way. Like, of course, I don't think so if Asun was given an option that you could go to university, like she would have chosen that.
Hmm.
अगर उसके पास पैसे होते और अगर उसका सिचुएशन अलग होता वो चली जाती, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नहीं जाती, पर उसने चूज करा, अभी उसके पास पैसे भी नहीं थे, शी कुडंट डू इट, देन शी चोज यांगवान सिक, अदरवाइज शी कुड हैव चोजन द अदर गाय, राइट, जो यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए दे रहा था पैसे। अगर वो अच्छा होता, मतलब ठीक ठाक होता, तो वो पता नहीं, स्टोरी अलग ही हो जाती फिर, वो पढ़ने के लिए
Yeah.
चली
True.
जाती। तो समवेयर समवन हैज टू सरेंडर, एंड इन दिस स्टोरी यांग वन सीक actually surrendered to Asun, and because of that, uh, entire plot changed, and she's the center of the plot.
Yes, I think it's probably redefining how we look at
Mm,
a relationship,
mm,
because coming from Bollywood, romance
mm,
or these sort of relationships are being positioned or portrayed in a very different way.
yeah,
And this particular series positioned how love is. It need not be just a romance,
mm,
it's genuinely caring
yeah,
for what you do
mm,
and the people that you work with, right?
yeah,
And similar is what we probably take and try to practice in our workplace, where
mm,
again, time and again, we are being sort of pushed towards
mm,
showing empathy, showing care, understanding what your clients need,
mm,
understanding what your team needs, trying to shape their careers
mm,
rather than just being very focused and, like a male chauvinist, showing
mm,
my own goodwill in the
mm,
family that I have done this or I have achieved it. Contrary to what, the the series position, that it's about a genuine care
yeah,
and how love can really change
yeah,
how father portrays,
mm,
so there was this scene uh, where the father used to dine
mm,
with his mother, but
mm,
because the daughter, who's very young, a four
yeah,
5 year old,
yeah, yeah,
wants more peace,
yeah,
and then the father said that I'm going to break this tradition
ah,
and I'm going to now start having my meal with this side of the table.
correct,
And then, it showed a lot of
mm,
sacrifice. And as I said, you know it doesn't really matter if you're giving some peace to somebody on a table, but it's about redefining the
culture,
rigidity in a
yes,
society
yes,
and trying to fight that. I think that was a very, so right throughout the series, every episode would have some sort of scenes where it's very subtly positioned the definition of caring.
yes,
It's not buying money,
yeah,
it's not buying things via money, or it's
yeah,
not having a very fancy job,
yeah.
or sailing across seven seas to earn like you did. Right, so it's I
No,
feel
no, it's,
it's I feel
अब मेरे को हंसी
it's
आ
a
रही है
very
कि वो अर्निंग
सात
वाला
समुंदर
पार्ट
पार
तो
चली गई तुम गाय तुम।
वो तो डिमिनिश ही हो रहा है। नहीं, बट आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट
वो
पॉइंट,
तो
राइट,
इसमें
कि
अंडर प्ले हो गया
लव,
कि मतलब
हाँ, कि लव और कैसे अफेक्शन और केयरिंग, it plays an not it important is a very
leaves
short term,
impressions.
it's such a
Yeah,
it is
like,
beyond measure,
yeah,
कि वो केयर और
correct.
अफेक्शन जब कोई दिखाता है, एंड आई फील the relationship of a husband and a wife, right, it is
Mm,
the closest
mm,
one you can get. The other relationships are there by
true,
default.
true.
Parents you didn't choose, it is a blood relationship.
Mm,
You never choose your siblings, that's also blood, it comes, right? You choose your partner, and It's a
Mm.
non-blood relationship, and you have to put in effort each day to, you know,
Very
take
true.
that relationship forward. And यहाँ पे सीरीज पे इतना ब्यूटीफुली दिखाया है कि वो एफर्ट कैसे डाल रहा है, स्टेप बाय स्टेप।
Mm.
उसको कैसे प्रोटेक्ट करता है, उसको कैसे बोलता है कि अपने मम्मी से या अपने ग्रैंड मदर से कि शी हैज नॉट मैरिड यू गाइस, शी हैज मैरिड
Yeah.
मी, एंड
Me.
शी नीड
Yeah.
नॉट एडजस्ट विथ यू गाइस, सो इफ यू कैन नॉट एडजस्ट आई एम मूविंग आउट। इट इज सच अ, और एक सीन में तो मतलब इतना सटली बोला होता है कि उसकी मम्मी पूछती है यांग वन से कि कौन मेरे को, मेरा
Mm-hmm.
एकलौता बेटा ही मेरे से इतना अगेंस्ट है, हु इज गोइंग टू सपोर्ट
Mm-hmm.
मी? And the mother, hero, Yang Wan-sik replies, "Father has to support you.
Yeah.
That is his job, and my job is to support Aesun." तो
Yeah.
वो, मेरे को लगता है वो थोड़ा इस सीरीज में थोड़ा ज्यादा दिखाया है। मेरे को नहीं लगता नॉर्मल वर्ल्ड में, आई डोंट थिंक दैट इन नॉर्मल
I
सिनेरियोज दिस काइंड ऑफ रिबेल और दिस काइंड
rebel.
ऑफ थिंग
Yes.
happens because
I
you
mean,
are
not you can
doing, you have that pattern all through your
correct.
life. You have that thinking all through your
Mm,
life. You've seen your father not supporting your mother, so in essay instantly or out of the blue you will not turn out to be different. I feel in this story they have taken something called as imagination, like little bit of
mm,
imagination, right? And they have taken the
mm-hmm.
fact that he really loves Aesun to another level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is nice to see it on screen, very nice to even imagine things from the series. But does it happen in the real world? That's a question mark. Have we seen it in
No,
the real world happening?
I've,
Probably not.
I'll give you a very sort of one or two examples where I feel that what we saw in the series
Mm,
was probably over at least two generations on the face of it, right? And maybe
mm,
three as well, because
mm,
we saw the mother
mm,
doing an odd job, the job took away her life, and then there is this female strong character that has come through those hardships,
mm.
and the lessons that she then sort of tries to overprotect her own daughter,
Yep.
right? So it's a portrayal of three generations, and any dedication towards such a societal change would require time, effort, and persistence,
Mm,
right? I remember my grandfather giving an example that he was very young, graduated from BHU
mm,
with a gold medal in engineering, and then came the time of marriage. So he said, "Of course, I leave it up to you.
mm,
My parents are wise enough to select the right girl from for me."
mm,
And then when he went to, or when he got married and my grandmother came home, then he was the first one in the family to fight against the parda system.
mm,
He said that she would not do what has been sort of been practiced for generations, and it stopped sort of here.
mm,
uh, and that's how things started. So it
mm,
was definitely much more easier.
mm,
From a grandmother, she learned sitar. She was so active in cooking, in
mm,
sort of moving around places, and
mm,
that really helped the family and her kids becoming so confident,
mm,
contrary to probably some other similar aged women in that time,
mm.
right?
Correct.
And that was just a small step to probably what even we saw
Mm,
in, of course it's a fiction, and I mean the series is based on a true story, but a lot of it might be a little exaggerated.
yeah.
But in my view, I feel that we really need to think ahead of time
Mm,
to see that change. And that's where, like, if you look if you look at the series and their example, their daughter really went ahead, be it university, be it going from a small village to a
mm,
city. And so is what I'm seeing in my generation, where of
mm,
course a lot of our uh, if you look at our mothers, and
mm,
which is just 2 decades or 15 years back,
mm,
or most of them were housewives, and even
mm,
if they had jobs, they were very small defined jobs. You go to a bank, come back by
mm,
4 p.m.
mm,
You go, you maybe you can teach, or
mm.
the career was also sort of picked by the
Yeah.
groom's family,
Correct.
contrary to what our generation is going through.
Yeah.
In just 20 or 30 years, The
mm,
world has really changed for the women like you and
mm,
me in the
yeah,
country, where we are traveling alone, we are managing our finances alone.
yeah,
Of course, in a group of 8 to 10, there might be one or two still
mm,
who are, let's say, who are either under the pressure of their husbands to manage their finances,
mm,
or who give their salaries to their husbands to manage. But all said and done, in just a span of 2 decades or 3 decades,
things are changing.
the
Mm,
the world for
yeah,
a lot of women have changed.
yeah,
And again, there are differences between tier 1, tier 2, and some of the places where
mm,
people do not have access. And there, I believe, internet and just a mobile phone in hand is changing things.
mm,
Recently, I ordered, uh,
mm,
so I'm into candles, and I ordered scented candles,
mm,
so around 100 pieces. And
mm,
surprisingly, I just went by cost,
mm,
because that's the first
mm.
criteria that anybody would look at. So I look at pricings.
Uh,
I shortlisted 5 6 vendors, and then I came across this very very young dynamic girl based out of a very small place in a state, Madhya Pradesh,
mm,
Chindwara.
mm.
And and her prices were some of the most competitive prices. Like, if to give you an example, she was giving me a candle for 70, while others were giving me at 150, 220, two
Oh, wow.
fifty. So of course the order went there.
Mm,
And I mean, if you look at the service world class, she
mm,
was over communicating on the shipment,
mm,
the parcel time, the
mm,
charges. She
mm,
trusted me that, okay, you don't need to pay for the parcel. You just pay for the order and let it
mm,
reach you. Then you pay me, or you
mm,
pay to the vendor directly. But I
mm.
feel that that's the next sort of
Okay, you're telling
boom
that.
that's gonna
Mm,
coming in,
yeah,
because of course
yeah,
you and I, we spent our childhood in cities, so we
yeah.
had things which were
Very
quite
easy for
easy
us.
in terms
Yes,
of access, like
yes.
a college or a school, or
Mm,
just the language barrier.
yeah.
We can conversate in English very well, but then
Mm,
I think the world is sort of now
changing.
seeing, at least for India, we can say that
Mm,
it's now changing, where my peers, my relatives who are who are like similar to me, my age or even elder, they
mm,
feel that they also would or should have picked up some jobs back in the past.
yeah,
So
you're right.
and that's the kind of values they're passing on to their daughters or even
Mm,
their sons when they're gonna
mm,
marry.
mm,
That what we did, please don't do that.
mm,
Try to have some sort of financial independence, some
mm,
cushioning.
mm.
Simpler weddings are sort of coming in.
Yeah,
So I think those changes are coming in. It's just a matter of time
yeah.
and persistence where we see
Mm,
those effects. And
mm,
uh, in a way, I strongly believe that because we were blessed to have what we had,
mm.
um, and it's simply a function of where we were born. As you
Yeah.
said, that we don't have a choice of selecting our parents,
Mm, mm.
but we got
We were
a
blessed.
very
Yeah.
we were blessed, and we got such a comforted sort of an upbringing.
Yes.
I think uh, we should always sort of give back to society
Yeah.
in some form or the other. It can be as small as, let's say, a talk like this on podcast, and it
Yeah.
reaches
Yeah.
even 10 lives and sort of inspire them to do something.
Yeah.
That's a start, probably, which many of us can do. If it can be your domestic helps
Mm,
daughter or son who needs help
mm,
with their education,
mm,
so simple, humble steps. We don't need to be a radical sort of a
mm.
person, or somewhere we
Yeah.
think of starting an education institute with a 10 crore
Mm.
sort of a budget. These are humble sort of
Yeah.
steps to sort of giving back.
Very true. And I feel, as you said, we don't have to be radical to bring a change. We don't have to be a big personality to bring a change, right? And in the series also, it's just a normal, if we look at it from outside, normal family hai, normal story hai. But the nuances, the layers to the story, and the fact that the the Asun, the character's daughter, right? I forgot her name. What is her name? Yang, Gumyong. Gumyong is her name.
Gumyong, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they had such a safe place for their kids,
Hmm.
it made sure that the kids were, very good at whatever they do.
Yeah.
It can be anything. Now my mindset has changed. You need not be, uh, you know, you need not have 3 4 degrees to be good
Mm-hmm.
at. If you can be good
That's
at
something.
any field, you can be good at
Yeah.
anything if you have the right skill and right, as you said, you should be persistent, should be very dedicated to it. And they prove that. She eventually starts a business which is
Mm-hmm.
so
Inspiring millions,
inspiring
hundreds,
millions.
and yeah.
And the boy also settles down and
Mm.
has his own thing. He might have, matlab story mein dikhate hain he wanders away, but
Correct.
somehow he catches his own path, and he comes up at the end. He is also fine. So it's just that जितनी भी नॉर्मल करे हैं उनमें नॉर्मल स्टोरीज होती हैं, बट in this normal story also there is that extraordinary storyline,
Yeah.
extraordinary depiction of characters, extraordinary development of characters with time. And one thing I feel which remained constant was the care which Aesun and Yang Wan-sik
Mm.
had for each other, right?
And
More than,
together, they were so protective of their family as well,
yes,
for each
so
other, for
protective.
their kids, for their community.
Yeah,
Uh, the
yeah,
mother's friends were so protective
so
of,
protective of her,
nurturing that
that,
love story, those
yeah,
characters.
which is so good to see, which
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's refreshing to see that they support and they're like, okay, fine, now you've done this, how do we handle this issue? Like, for example, there was a scene where the sons, because of the son's friend, they lose so much money,
Mm.
so all of them go and
Mm.
fight ki, what is
Yeah.
this, give the money back. And which was nice
Mm.
to see at this age and world ki
Yeah.
someone is there
Yeah,
to
that
support you.
togetherness, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is there. So yeah,
Yeah.
if we look back at that series, it is I was mind blown when I saw it for the first
Mm.
time, because I had never seen something like this, right? Something like this depicted at this scale. And uh,
Mm.
after that, it was viral because of, I think, Instagram and all, uh, the scenes and all of that. So many YouTube videos after that, and then everyone keeps talking about that series. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? So
Mm.
yeah, and after that, I watched almost, in
Yeah.
my Netflix, if you see, everything is K drama only. It is like
Yeah. I
addictive.
think there were two very strong messages overall from the series. One is that life has its own way of surprising us,
Mm,
and that too when we least expect it.
yeah,
So the moment we feel or we saw that, okay, their family settled, they lost one
one
son,
child. Yeah,
or now it's happy, now it's sort of a happy ending, and then something from a health
yeah,
perspective happened, or
and it
so
changed.
that is one. And the second is, I think, also making the best out of whatever you
Correct.
have,
Very
right?
correct.
It didn't show that, as I said in that scene, that okay, I'm gonna run into the market and get you extra peas because my daughter wants it. It's whatever we have,
Yeah,
we will make the best out of that.
yeah,
And that is, I think, very ingrained, at least in the Indian
yeah,
way of upbringing, of
mm,
probably when I reflect back at my own childhood, where even though it was just like two dumplings,
yeah,
four of us shared,
yeah,
right? And we never complained that,
yeah.
okay, it's not full. Even if it's just one
Give
homemade pizza,
mindset.
we
Very
were
true.
content that.
Very true.
So contrary, I think, again, to the consumerism sort
Mm,
of a boom that has come in.
mm,
So of course we've got more access, more money,
mm.
but it's also in a way making us wanting more,
Playing with the
rather
minds.
than feeling
Yes.
content that, I'm good with the pizza and we all will share.
Yeah,
So
that is there.
that's the irony, where I feel that, at least for you and me,
Mm.
when we saw those aspects which we experienced during our childhood,
Childhood.
it gives you nostalgia,
Yeah,
but it also sort of, then you start questioning that, okay, I'm just 30, and now which direction do I want to take my life
yeah,
or my family towards?
yeah.
And that sort of gave you a sense of direction, that yes, this is what I want.
This is what correct,
what
because
you
this
to what
is,
you said, right? For a partner, these are the things I want to look at, in terms of care, in terms
mm,
of passion,
mm,
dedication.
yeah,
But we also saw that initially the
mm,
female lead character was very
mm,
short tempered, was
Yes,
very,
yes,
and
yes.
that's how a lot of us are as women.
Yeah.
So
This no, I
I
was
felt
thinking
it's like
this.
seeing yourself in the mirror as
Yeah,
well to a little
when I
extent.
very true. When I look at that, right, and I'm just saying this as women. Everybody, all of us women know
Mm.
we have our own cycles, our hormonal
Yeah.
cycle. It's imbalanced, and I was just thinking. Suddenly during the month, you will feel so sad. You'll feel irritable. You'll feel angry. You have no reason because it's your hormones.
Mm.
And after 10 days you will be normal. You actually,
Yeah.
out of 30 days, you're only normal for 1 week or 2 week maximum.
Yeah.
Rest every time you are controlled by hormones. So you need someone who will at least know that okay,
Hmm.
it's not her, it
It's
is
temporary. Yeah.
something beyond her control.
Yeah.
And that part, in the beginning I also felt, why is Asun always so angry,
Hmm.
always so she's not appreciating what she has right now. But then you realize down the line that she has always been appreciative. It's just that she has had so much to tackle at such a young
Hmm.
age,
Yeah.
right? And it's never easy to be in that spot. And how beautifully,
And
so
that's what,
this
yeah, and
transition is
that's
also
what
there.
the other person understood,
Yeah,
that this is not her, but it's the circumstances
yeah,
which is sort of making her little vulnerable or trying to be too strong. But
yeah,
you lost your mother, you lost your family, so you are
mm,
vulnerable deep inside.
yeah,
But outside, you have to be very strong so
very
that
strong,
people don't harm you
correct.
or don't
And
sort of take you for granted. And
same
then,
character
yeah.
transitions into becoming a soft spoken
Hmm.
lady when
Hmm.
she is old, right? She doesn't speak
Yeah.
at all, she doesn't fight, she
Correct.
doesn't speak. And then she becomes the chief of that village. It's very beautiful
Hmm.
the way they showed the transition, and how he's like literally the steel heart, the nickname
Hmm.
for Yang Wan Singh, right? Literally the bed and bedrock and steel heart. He's always just there for them. So yeah, and how even after losing him, she recovers herself, and she
Yeah.
becomes again another version of herself. So it's
Yeah, very true.
beautiful.
And I think that also sort of gives a message again to what we have seen, that long, long back, women's life was defined by the husband.
Yeah.
So if anything happens, then either, of course, centuries back there was sati, but then it
Mm,
evolved to a system where the lady is just like at a corner of a house, very
mm,
invisible.
mm.
And this sort of gives you, the series again here gives you a message that it's never too late. It's never too
Yeah,
late for a new beginning.
yeah.
You wrote wonderful poetry back in college days, and now is the time. So why not start again?
Start that again. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because, of course, there were junctions when you were so busy raising a family,
Mm,
trying to save every penny, doing odd jobs. Even if I have a full time job, I'm doing some hustle, something on the
mm,
weekends, just so
mm.
that I can give this ideal sort of
Living
access
to
to
the
my
kids.
kids,
Yes, yes.
which I didn't get when I was, due to whatever reasons, right?
Mm,
Uh, which I didn't get when I was growing up, and that's also again, when we talk about scenes, that's very well positioned in a
mm,
scene uh, where the daughter is, where both the families are meeting. There's a
ah,
prospect groom,
yeah,
but then she's so protective, and of course the prospect groom's mother keeps
mm,
taunting that you've not taught this and you've not
yeah,
taught that
mm,
to your daughter.
yeah,
uh, all that again is very Indian because
mm,
these were the things which happened.
yeah.
It's very real, so again
It
that
happens
nostalgic
right now
feeling
also in some
right
families.
now also. But in, so again, it's a shift that's happening in society. It's not
Mm,
totally away. Like,
yeah,
I remember when I was, so I wear spectacles, but of course for social forums and all,
mm,
I put on lenses. And there was this prospect groom's family who had come, and they were like, okay, can we see you with specs,
mm,
right?
mm,
And that was such a sort of
mm,
ridiculed moment for me at
mm,
that time. But
mm,
then my mom at that time was like, yeah, yeah, put it on, it doesn't matter, right? In terms of,
mm,
and I was like, no,
mm,
if just looks is the factor,
mm,
specs, no specs or whatever, then this is not the family that I
mm,
would want to get married sort of
mm,
into. And those things again, where she stands up and takes a stand for her daughter, that
yeah,
we were so protective of her,
mm.
and we've not taught her how to cook or how to
Yes,
serve, and it's
yes,
okay,
yeah.
right?
I didn't
There
want
were,
her to learn that part.
yeah, exactly,
It is so,
because we,
yeah.
yes,
We
And then
wanted
in
her
a
to do
way,
something else, and that is the reason
something
why I
else.
didn't teach her that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's a very
And
beautiful
so
scene.
and it gave me goosebumps because I remember when I was in my college or late teens, my mother said, "Do not enter the kitchen.
Yes,
Cooking is the easiest thing that you can just pick up. You
yes,
just remain focused to studies,
yeah.
even
Same
if it's
thing,
making a
even,
tea for 10 minutes." And
yeah,
it has happened with so many of us, like because
correct.
so again that's the reason why when you look at those very realistic sort of things which have
You'll
happened with
connect with,
you,
yes,
you
you'll connect
connect
with
with
that. Yeah.
you connect with what
It
you
is,
see.
it is so surreal. I was brought up in a different family, right? Different setup
Mm,
altogether. And mine
mm,
was a South Indian upbringing. Yours was a North Indian
yeah,
upbringing. Whatever upbringing it is, even my mother has used the same sentence that when you have the chance of
correct.
holding a pencil or a pen,
Mm,
don't hold a ladle.
yeah,
There's a phrase in Tamil, and that's how she says that please don't come to the kitchen. If you need anything, you
mm,
tell me. If there
correct.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, you tell me or you tell Appa. You don't have
Mm,
to enter. And for me, it's the same rule. For my sister, it was the same rule. So it's like we
mm,
never entered the kitchen before.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Before
day I
getting
got
married,
married. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
that
that
is
was the
when
first time
the
when
first
somebody
time.
said, "Okay, light the stove and make halwa," and I was like, "Really? Can I please
So
see YouTube
you won't believe
for the
till
recipe?"
12th I didn't even know how to switch on
Mm,
I'm not telling it
yes,
out
yeah.
of telling it proudly or something. It is just
Mm,
that I was told just to study.
yeah,
My only
yeah,
job was to study, to do
correct.
all my extracurricular properly, be
Mm,
focused on that. And that is the reason why my parents didn't want. Of course, it doesn't mean that we didn't know how to do basic 101 of cooking or basic 101 of saving someone. If someone is dying, we will do something and give. It's just that we were never told to spend time on it, to
yes.
learn that stuff. And
And it was also, I think, coming from where our mothers came from,
that's the
where
point which I
they
was
couldn't
trying to
study.
tell. Yes,
Yeah.
that is the entire thing why I was starting this, right? Even though our upbringings are so different, but the main notion of that upbringing was that
Mm,
I will make sure that my daughter studies. I will
yes,
make sure
yes.
that my daughter, stands
She
on her
earns
own two
a
feet.
living.
Yeah,
The
earns her
only
living. E-
purpose, I think, for me was that my mother wanted both me and my sister, similar to your case, we are two sisters, where
mm,
she wanted us to earn
yeah,
and be independent because there were some down times during our family where
yeah,
father did business or this and that, and there were those phases of life where
mm,
she felt
yeah,
that if she had a job,
mm,
the family setup would have been much easier. And probably that's where I'm coming from.
yeah,
Maybe there's a well established business setup
mm,
for someone where the ladies still choose
correct.
a very different life, and that's
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
We are not telling anybody to do or how to live
Mm,
life. It's just that uh, we are reflections of our parents. And if
yes.
our parents went through something, and that is what is depicted in the series also, that you
Mm,
eventually, the boy or the girl, they eventually turn into mini versions of their parents. Even if
mm.
they don't want to, they will turn
Willingly,
into that. Yeah.
willingly, yeah.
Eh, And
Yeah.
then your adult persona comes in the picture.
Correct.
You slowly, leave away the negative qualities of your
Yeah.
parents, and then you
Yeah.
adapt into the positive qualities, and you tap
Mm.
into that energy.
Thank you.